Hello, cats and kittens, felines and felidae, humans and variant humans, and every race, class, and subclass. It is time for another installment of Brainy the RPG Cat. And that happens to be me. I happen to be Brainy the RPG Cat. Today we're going to do something a little different. Well, actually, we're doing something a lot different. We are streaming in the afternoon, so that's a first for me, is that I usually stream in the late evening. The second thing that is different is that we're going to be doing an art stream, and so this is going to be the first art stream under the Brainy the RPG Cat banner. The banner, the one that has always been hanging overhead just off screen where you haven't been able to see it. But we are going to be drawing some magic token cards, and the reason that we're drawing magic token cards is that I once got a commission from my good friend, The Great Half, which is twitch.tv/The Great Half. Give him that manual shout out here. So be sure to follow twitch.tv/The Great Half. So The Great Half runs a business that primarily sells TCG cards. And he had asked me in order to draw my characters on some of the token cards that he wanted to give out for business and promotional purposes. And I said, sure, absolutely. That would be swell. That would be totally swell. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be spending the next couple of hours drawing this commission that the Great Half asked. And let's go ahead and let's get started. So, I took the time in order to set up my personal drawing desk here, and it looks pretty good. It's very an ornate, antique, and what have you. And so I've set it up so that I have the screen behind me and you can clearly see my paw as I'm going to be drawing the majority of this. So let's see. Our first character I'm going to draw for these commissions is I'm going to draw myself. And so when I draw myself, I'm going to draw myself sprawling on top of a large crystal ball. So the first thing that we're going to need, of course, is we're going to need a circle. All right, so let's see here. So I want to make sure that this takes out a good amount of the lower third of the canvas that I'm using. Here we are. Something like that. And then let's get ourselves a circle tool. And let's make it a light blue. I don't know if I'm going to carry this circle on between my sketch and my final, but either way it would be good that it's blue, just so that we would be able to draw over it or draw around it or bring it forward and then make the final one using it. But I'm definitely starting with a circle here. All right, so let's go ahead and I accidentally hit a button on my tablet. I don't know which one. Alright, okay, so does anybody really use the buttons on their tablet? Anyways, let's see. So, yeah, the entirety of the drawing that's going to be there. That's one layer. On the other layer, I'm going to be drawing in the same light blue because I'm going to be doing the light sketch version of myself. So, let's see now. I like a pen. Actually, maybe I would like a pencil. I want to just see how this looks as I'm sketching it. And so, let me move up here. And okay. So I think my head should go right about here, and then a much larger section of my body should be taking place right about here. Raise that up. And so my understanding is that the Great Hoff is going to be using this as a wizard card, which I believe that there are wizard tokens in the new Capoeira set that's going to be coming out next week. Um, but not entirely sure what he's going to be doing with it. I opted for cat tokens, you know, but I guess I can't count as an ordinary cat, so I don't get to be on the cat tokens. Boo. All right, so uh, at this width, it almost feels like I'm drawing with a crayon. All right. All right, so that's not quite it. Not really the shape that I want my hat to be. And so maybe a little bit. Try to make it a little rounder. Let's see, get rid of some of this sketch. Alright. See, my stylus more than likely hasn't been one-to-one with the drawing that I'm actually making. That's fine, we're only testing right now. Is that these streams are more or less just destined to be scuffed because something has been going on with my bandwidth settings, and I have not been able to run a perfect bandwidth. So let me draw this, and then let me erase this corner. I'm going to need to go back, and I'm going to need to give myself a thinner eraser because this one is rather huge. Alright, so see, I say this, and then I'm going to go back to the VOD, and I'm going to say to myself, well, that was all quite hilariously out of sync. Okay, so big bushy tail, because I have one of those. I have a big bushy tail. Alright. And so, sketching a few toe beans, because that's fan service for when you're a furry, is that if you have hilarious toe beans. Alright, so I don't know if my eyes should be open or closed. Alright, so let me move that aside here. I just put in the sketch marks for the whiskers, for the whisker spots, and then put in my beard. And so we pretty much got the basic sketch going now. Just sticking out like that. And let's see. I'm going to start doing inks. Let's create a new layer. Oops, that was a new folder. Okay, let's create a new layer. Alright. And so, yeah, G pen, real G pen, dark ground. Well, when I draw Brainy, well, as to say, when I draw myself, I usually start with a light brown ink base instead of the black one. If I feel like there's things that need black details, then I will go ahead and I will add those in, but let me see if there's just something else that I could use here. Maybe a slightly textured pen would be nice. Alright. Tapering. Alright. Very good so far. Alright. Oh, gee whiz. I wanted to use a playlist for Spotify, just so that I would be able to have something else, something different. But the one thing I didn't anticipate is there actually being commercials in it. Well, that's a mistake I made for this stream only. I just put it that way. Alright. So I want my ear to be over here. Alright. So far, so good. So I put that out that way. That eyeball is a little off, unfortunately. I'm just drawing it in a way that is a bit too over tapered. Okay, so... Oh, I accidentally opened up that window just a bit too much. You guys staring at my infrastructure? It looks like you're staring at my infrastructure. Don't stare at my infrastructure. I think I might have to scroll in on this one. Okay, well, not quite. Still a bit too wide. Let's see here. There we go. That's a bit better. Let's see. There, okay. That makes up most of his head. Let's see. So I want to do his sleeve here. Take a half a second to see where the sleeve actually meets the corners here. All right. You know, on second thought, I should probably outline that section in dark blue. Simply because, you know, I'm at least going somewhat into the colors I'm going to need in order to complete this. Alright, so, Alright, so... hit undo one more time. Alright. So I'll start to draw my flowing sleeve here. Alright. And a draw in the paw, but I need to go back to the other color. So I tell myself I am focusing on the torso right now. That's why I changed to blue. my tablet paused for a half a second there so that I could do it, so that I could do a little autosave. Alright. So let's see. Draw the rest of my cap there. Oh, that line's a little bit too thick. Let's put that there the right way. And now I think let's go. Now would be a good time to go back to the brown. Alright. Okay, take a drop of this color. Alright. So I do think this is a forward-facing paw, and if it is, then I've got an opportunity to draw more toe beams. Alright. Just like so. Gotta put some first streaks as I go down, because that's what I have. I have first streaks. Some first streaks going in this direction. Alright. Now I can provide a little bit more of a shape to this foot. Okay. Not bad, not bad at all. Alright. Now I've got to do my tail, and I've got to draw my tail while doing first streaks on the way up. To be this fluffy is a curse. It just takes a lot of extra time in order to fill in all this detail. Alright. So I move that up there. And so that is going to be my basic body shape. Let's see. So toe ball there, 3 toe beans here. 1, 2, and 3. Alright. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright. And so something I should also do with the outline, I should probably make the base of the I should probably make the base of the crystal ball as well. Let's see here. Ooh, do I want to go back to a sketch to do that? I think I do. Okay, well, okay, back to the blue pencil. Oh, I should go back to the color blue as well. It's going to be a different color blue on the sketch layer, but don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to draw a base for this that has a couple of circles. And then that is going to be filled in by multiple circles when I draw the finished one. Alright. So I'm just going to draw a row of circles. Alright. Let's put out a couple other things for the purposes of making it ornate. Looks like this has got a couple of tree branches in it. I will kind of put a large reaching tree branch as well. Alright. Okay, that looks good. And so let's go back up to the ink layer and let's start creating the outline for that. Alright. Then I gotta go back to pens. Still using the tapered pen. Alright. So this should be a base that is a gold and then just a color slightly deeper than gold. Probably a brass. Something like that. Alright. Okay. Look at this. I'm drawing this, but then putting some slight ridges into it. So that it looks a bit more like a branch. And it's just these little ringlets here that are holding up the crystal ball. Alright, so... It almost looks like a tree trunk. When I do the interior colors, I might color it like a tree trunk. Alright. We gotta try to look good. We've gotta try to look good for the card. Okay, draw that one with a bit more of a border so that it will better so that it'll better surround the crystal ball. And then I'm going to need to put circles around it so that I can round out the border design here. Alright. Just like that. Oops. I did it again. I accidentally reduced this window. And now everyone can see my infrastructure again. Everyone can see from whence this adorable paw springs. Alright. Okay. Good so far. And so I'm probably going to, instead of keeping the perfect circle in the middle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some very light blue as an inked outline, and I am going to I'm going to outline this. All right. It won't be a perfect circle in the final version, but it'll be pretty darn close. All right. Hitch that line a little bit too far. All right. Just like that. And so now if we disappear the sketch layer, yeah, we've got a pretty good outline now. All right, let me give this a save. Well, I'll just save to desktop for now. All right. I'm breaking the fourth wall here. I mean, nobody actually believed that I wasn't, at doing this on, that I wasn't actually doing this on a computer. I mean, if you're looking close enough, you say it says Clip Studio Paint right up here. All right, so let's see. Oh, and the outline, I forgot the whiskers. I usually make those black. All right. It also looked as though I was... So there's a little bit of tapering on this pen, and it's definitely going to show once I start drawing with the whiskers. Alright, so let's go here, and here, and also here, and here. Alright, that's part of the outline now. Okay, so the outline is all done. The next thing I'm probably going to put in is the color. And so I have a few choices when it comes to color. I'm going to use inkers. I usually use inkers when I'm drawing a color. When I'm drawing for a webcomic that I regularly do. And so I kind of limit myself when it comes to textures, when it comes to that. So I'm going to try a few different ones here. I think I'm going to want something like a dense watercolor. And so the first thing I'm going to have to figure out, I'm going to paint a very light blue. And I'm going to mostly fill in the crystal ball with this light blue. Okay. Yeah, make sure that take a moment to make sure that I actually am painting this on a different layer. And so I'm mostly going to work on the flats here in a little while. I'm going to start picking out contrasting colors so that I can do the shading. Let's see. I should go back to the outline and I should scribble in the stripes too. I kind of inadvertently did it that time. I just kind of went around. It's like a little meow. Alright. Alright. Fill that in. Alright, pretty good, pretty good. Just take a half a second to look and see if there aren't any areas around the globe that have not been filled in with color. Alright, and so I should pick out something like a light. So I need to pick out that gold color actually. And let me see. Just like so. I'm going to need a slightly smaller brush as well. Well, I went from a 20 to a 2. That's way too small. Alright. Oh, it's way too big again. Alright. Oh, give me a 10. A 10 would be nice. I'll settle for 11. I feel like this is too pastel a color. I'm gonna start making it a little bit duller. Alright. Make on me. Make on me. Anyways. See, I should zoom in on this a little bit. I can definitely see the watercolor quality. There is a slight blending between the darker color and the lighter color. Let's see. Yeah, my eraser is still huge. My eraser is too big. I'm gonna need that to be like a 15. Alright. Alright. See, I know that the cursor is getting really far and away this time, but it's the first time I've ever set up something like this. What are you gonna do? Alright. Alright. You can pretend I have a magic pen point if you want. I am really breaking the fourth wall here. I am really destroying the suspension of belief. Alright, here we are. Okay, so that's filled in. Now I'm going to start coloring myself in. I think it might be helpful for me to bring in one of my previous images so I could borrow the colors from it. And so let's start with that magnificent grayish brown on that fur. Alright. So let's sit right about here. Let me fill in the eyes. That'll remind me in order to fill them up with white color later. That is definitely something that I need to do. Alright. I'm beginning to see some variances in the watercolor. I'm not sure that you can, particularly because I've been streaming at such a low bit rate. Alright. Here we are. Alright. Not bad at all. Okay, so as I said, I gotta fill the whites of my eyes. Alright. And then put in some of the yellow. Alright. There we go. Let's, while I have this color out, I'll do the pause. And see, the pod tips are definitely going to be a darker black. I haven't shown what these pod pads look like in much of my other art. But you know, just like the type of cat that I'm based on, they are just black colored. Oops, I should have colored that in first. Oh well. Alright. There we go. So you want a lot of that pinkish for the nose right here. And so I'm going to need to do my face stripes, and I'm going to need to do the pale part of my face. So let's see. I usually start by filling in the pale part of my face, which is this color. definitely everything all the way down to the beard is that color. Alright. I'm pretty sure the stripes are the same color as the outline, at least usually. Maybe I want them to be just a little bit lighter for contrast in this picture. Maybe just like a little bit of a slightly more coffee color there. So we are definitely seeing the watercolor in a detail like such as this. Alright. Okay. And then it's usually just around the base of my lips that you see the second streak. Alright. There we go. That looks pretty good. And now we're going to want to start filling in the robe, and the robe is usually just pretty basic blue, maybe closer to a royal blue. All right. So we are going to want a slightly bigger brush size for this one. All right. Not entirely sure this is the same watercolor as before. These light, maybe it's really just because I'm using a slightly bigger brush. So I can fix that. I can go to a smaller brush. I go to a smaller brush and then that would fix that. If I didn't know better, I'd think the colors were bleeding. Alright. This color is so dark you can barely see where I had put the outlines. So I'm going to need to go back and I'm going to need to make those outlines a darker color. Alright. Okay, so that looks good except for this very tiny amount that spilled over at the top here. Alright. right. And so I need to pick out the lighter color now. I think it's kind of a lavender. Alright, so then make sure that I put that there. Alright. There we are. Very good. Very good indeed. So I'm getting slight variances in the colors because I'm using a watercolor. And there's just some areas where the color looks a little lighter than it would have been. But oh well. I'm trying to decide if I want to make those clothing folds into a something and into a lighter color, or if I want to do something else with them. Still thinking about that. Let's see. Okay, coloring slightly into the leg, but I need to. I need to do that. All right. Say, pretty good, pretty good. Not so bad, pretty okay. So, I say that one a lot now, and it's really because I got that from an actual art teacher of mine. He used to say, look at my portfolio and say, yeah, pretty good, pretty okay, all the time. And that's really just kind of become my inner monologue when it comes to drawing these days. Not bad, pretty okay. And so it's been useful. It helps me to, measure my own expectations when it comes to my art. Something everybody needs to learn how to do if they spend a significant amount of time drawing. Okay, pretty good. I gotta go all the way up the tail. Do. Just about. This has been a lovely playlist so far. A significant amount of it just kind of comes from video game and feature film music, but other than that, you know, it always makes me the tiniest bit nervous. But well, we'll see what it's worth, once I actually get the VOD back. All right. All right. All right. So I believe that is every main section of this is now colored. Um, let's see. So what I'm going to want to do, okay, so I'm going to want to put up a layer that I want to use to draw small details, and I will use that along with the watercolors in order to create details like the stripes, the stripes on his back and also on his tail, and the symbols on his hat. And so that's pretty much like what I'm going to be doing here. All right, so take that pen. So for starters, make the tail tip black. Strangely, the tail tip on my model is not black, but I don't know, it tends to look good in other images. At least that's what I think. Alright. So yeah, that much. Black tail tip. And then I'm going to start putting in the streaks. Alright. Alright, that looks pretty good. And so another thing that you all also often don't see, you don't see the streaks on my back. I think you can see them on the sides of my belly, but not as detailed as this. Ruh-roh. I think I've lost calibration on my tablet. It happens sometimes. Let's see here. to do about this. Don't have a much better way of doing this. Just go to keyboards and mice. I gotta use control panel. Alright. Alright, so control panel. View devices. Syntec. And then recalibrate. Alright. Recalibrating might make my stream pointer look better, but I doubt it. Alright, so where was I? Oh, yes. That's too many stripes. Maybe just those three, and then I should whiten this one. Alright. And of course, the stripes on my legs. Just like so. To make sure that I fill in those corners. Alright, so that takes care of that. Now I need to do the symbols on my hat. And so... what's a display toggle anyway? What do they map these buttons to? The next thing I'm going to end up doing is I am going to end up just push every button on my tablet until I find the one that Huh. I have had my microphone off. I don't know for how long I've had my microphone off. I've certainly been talking this whole time. Maybe I just turned it off when I started hitting random buttons, but oh gee whiz. Well, I can at least say that I was here. Um, Let me see. Should take a moment and I should save this. Alright. Alright. Tablet properties. I don't think this opens a window whenever I open it. I would like to just tack it onto my okay. Wow, I think we are getting into straight up Christmas music. Well, not a lot I'm going to be able to do about that. Anyways, I was drawing symbols. So I want a relatively small size brush. I probably want a 5. So, the first symbol I always draw is the eye symbol that is in the center of my hat, and that is the Eye of Denier. And so that is the symbol of my patron saint. Let's see here. Alright. And then I just kind of put other things in there. Stars and moons and just circles and triangles. Whatever's needed. I can never remember what the specific symbols are, but oftentimes I don't even really need to. Alright, so I believe that covers all the colors, so that covers all the subcolors too. So let's fit this to the screen so everybody can see what the final product is. So let me see. So what do I want to do next? So I want to copy through these layers. I want to copy the color layer, the outline layer. And then I want to color, let me see. Which one of these was the outline layer? Alright. And so just make another version of this, and this is going to be the version that I add highlights and colors to. Alright, so and so usually I will merge these two together except for the outline. Let me see. Merge the selected layers. Okay, so that just leaves me with an outline and then a set of merge colors, and to that I am going to lock the transparent pixels. And so I do shading a little bit different from most people. Some people will either use the dodge and burn tool. Other people will hand select different shades colors. I kind of do something that's a little bit in between. So what I do is I will use the watercolor brush that I've been using this whole time. I will turn it white, and I will also create an opacity. Probably, let me see. Well, that's an item opacity. Let's see. I'm not entirely sure I can create a brush opacity using Clip Studio. Let me see, what can I actually do here. Tool properties. Oh, here it is. Okay. So then I will make a very light opacity, usually about 25. I will get a relatively large size brush, something in the neighborhood of 15 to 18. And then I'll just start filling in areas with opacity. And so, okay, first thing I should do is I should probably zoom in. Okay, so still left a dot on his head. Okay. So first thing I should do is, and so because I've locked the transparent pixels, and so just create some slightly lighter streaks on some sections of this. I can only streak across it once because I'm using a layered brush. And so any of the areas where the brushes might potentially meet are going to create multiple layers, and I don't want that. Alright. Okay, it takes care of these highlights. And so some of these areas that I'm filling in, I probably want them to be particularly bright because right now Brainy is standing on top of the standing on top of a crystal ball, so he's probably glowed up pretty well. All right, so. So all the undercarriage there. get from here to here all lit up. Well, maybe not so tall. All right. And then we do the opposite, is we use the same brush, we use the same opacity, but we make it 100% black. And so one thing I thought I would do in order to highlight the missing areas before would be to shade them. I don't think that will work on the sleeves, but it will definitely work on the bag. All right. I think I want this to be kind of a roundish shading. All right. All right, that looks pretty good. And so I'm going to start bringing this the magic wand tool into this. I need to start filling out areas that are transparent white, and then on top of this crystal ball. Okay, well, and I need my watercolor again. And just fill this in. All right. So I'll zoom out on this a little bit again so everyone can see it. Very good. I need to add highlights to the base, and I think those are going to need to be those are going to need to be a brighter yellow instead of a white. All right. Probably not that one. Shouldn't shade. We shouldn't shade that one because um, it's just too far out. You're probably going to want to choose a deeper yellow for that. Just kind of like a brownish yellow. And this is what's going to make up the color of the shaded areas of this. Alright. Alright. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to come up with a background for this. We are going to, so I'm going to take just a regular paper background. I'm going to paint bucket it, and I want it to be just kind of like a deep brown. I'm trying to get a little red in there too, kind of just a deep reddish color, and then paint bucket that. I think I'm going to need a new layer for that. Alright. There we are. Whoops. I see something wasn't painted. I'm trying to think. I think it was in this layer. Okay, so... Alright. This is still... Okay, stop locking transparent pixels. Okay, now I believe I can fill this in. Alright. Do. Alright. And so then I'm going to need to lock transparent pixels again. So add a little depth to that. Okay. So usually I go to gradients for these kinds of things, but I really don't want to go to gradients for this image. So when it comes to pure background color, I want it to be something like just kind of a reddish, but also very black. Where's that paint bucket again? So I'm getting there. I'm just slowly making it deeper over time. Alright. And so then I'm going to create another layer, and then I'm going to create something that's representative of the floor. I think something like a middle tan. And then I want a really, really distressed paintbrush. I need... If I had something like a wood grain, that would have been useful, but I don't believe that I do. Um, um, there's a few stains here. Some wet wash. What about in the markers? Probably thick oil paint. So that's going to have to go above this layer. And then I just want to just create something that kind of resembles some wood planks. Alright. Alright. And now I'm going to want a detail to go in the opposite direction. I'm going to want something like a deeper orange. Alright. Then I'm going to want to move slightly in a different direction, and I want to create vertical areas. Let's see how I go with that. And this is where I'm going to get in trouble, because there was a little bit when it comes to John Baptiste. Right.
Listen now on Spotify.
Alright. And so now you can see that just kind of creates an impromptu background there. I think it looks like, probably a little bit like the inside of the library, but just in a much more rustic way. Alright. And so the last thing left for me to do is to get us a signature. And so I did choose a different pen. I'll just do the turnip pen. And then that's it. So this is the finished card. This is the card that I'm going to be delivering to the Great Huff in order to eventually create his series of unofficial tokens. So I think it looks pretty good. I mean, you're more than likely going to see me announce this, and then after I've announced this, I will have put it on. I will put it on Discord. I've been putting it on all my social media, and then just hand it over to Chris so that he can make his card. So I'm going to be taking a very short break. After I'm done with my break, I will be back and I will be creating the second card, which is of my previous character on the Scarlet Derby. He is going to be he is going to be representative of a pilot card, and so we'll be right back after this short break, and then we'll be back with the second Let's Draw. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. Um, Once again, I am Brady, the RPG Cat. Thank you very much. KS Productions, thank you very much for following. I appreciate that an awful lot. So, KS Productions is a local representative group, an agency, and also a very big supporter of local authors, artists, and creative types around the Denver area. Be sure to give them a follow. They are at twitch.tv/KS Productions. Alright, be sure to check them out. Tell them Brittany the RPG Cat sent you, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be taking probably just like a 3-minute break, and then we'll be back with another live drawing. So stick around, everybody. This is Brittany the RPG Cat. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Brainy the RPG Cat. We just completed some fan art self portrait that we're going to be handing this over to the Great Half, twitch.tv/the Great Half, so that he can use it in a series of Magic the Gathering token, unofficial token characters. And so he had made the request. He had wanted me in order to be the wizard in his new Caparia set. At least I think that's what it's called, New Caparia, something like that. But he also asked us to do a drawing of our previous VTuber and online personality character, the Scarlet Derby. And the Scarlet Derby is going to be the pilot in this same set of unofficial token cards. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started on that. We're going to begin by drawing it from scratch, just as we did with this image. And so let's go ahead and let's head over to that. Just go ahead and click on this tab right here. And already we've got a brand new blank canvas that we're going to be using. Alrighty, so let's get started. Um, so I think what I had wanted for this drawing is I wanted him to almost look. I wanted it to look exactly like um, that one scene from Looney Tunes where Wile E. Coyote is wearing the Batman outfit, and so he's going to wear the Batman outfit, and then he's going to be careening into a cliffside. So I'm going to figure out specifically how to depict that in cartoon trading card form. So let's see. All right, so I'm gonna look up a reference for this. I'm not gonna show the reference online, but you know, try to see if I can find precisely the image where the coyote is looking directly at the camera before he smacks into the side of the building, and so I'll give you just a really quick glimpse of it before I just commit to using it as a reference. So it's actually this image right here. So I'm mostly going to be basing it on this image right here. Of course, I'm still going to be drawing it freehand, but yeah. So we're going to be working with that. So I've got to create something with the same amount of smarminess as that image, and so I think last time we were using the tapered pen, it was going really well. And then that had an opacity to it. We're going to bring that opacity back to 100. And let's see here. I don't need to create a new layer. You know what? I wasn't actually using the pen to sketch. Instead, I was using the pencil. So yeah, we're definitely going to be starting with the pencil. All right, so come up with a rough approximation of this sketch. And so this is going to be a little hard for me to do because the image that I'm using is rotated in the other direction. I have to rotate it back right again while I'm sketching. So really get the stance in here so that people know precisely what I'm referencing. Okay, so and then a kind of interesting pose because his pelvis is up like this, but then from there I have to bring his legs down again, and then his feet up in this direction. All right, so. And so I am just kind of filling this out in some areas where it's got to look a bit more like the derby and a bit less like the coyote. I should move that. All right. So the Scarlet Derby daring pilot type adventure. So I'm probably going to be doing a slight variation right here. I'm going to be moving this foot up in this direction so it's distinguishable from the other one. Alright, so probably going to be using a different type of glider as well. Something that is a bit more evocative of what's happening here. So, probably slightly more straight winged. Or you know what? Actually, I do like the idea of the butterfly wings, but let's take the butterfly wings. Let's put the fins up like that, and so the head's going to be tilted in this direction. Okay, start to draw his face in a little bit. He's got a big smile on his face. He's going to have a big smile on his face, and then we're going to draw well, maybe instead of a clip face, he will be smacking into Big Ben, something like that. All right, so want his legs to come up like this. You know what? Probably instead of drawing his hands in this direction, what I would like to do instead is I would like to have them just connected to the wings in the here, and so put his hands in this direction and probably fan them out like this. But then I'm beginning to lose the what the shape of the wings is like. So let's see. If I were just to draw his arms. So it looks a little bit, fan them out in different directions so it looks like that. And then I don't want to lose sight about what his torso it looks like. I think that might be covering up that might be covering up this area a bit too much. Let's see here. Erase this. Erase this much of the scribbling that I'm doing right now so that he can fit a bit more in this direction. And alright, so I think that's a fair compromise here. Let me see. Increase the size of my brush, and then I will erase this. All right. Okay, then I need to draw in where his legs are going to be again. Alright. I've been streaming for a while now, and I'm finally beginning to start to experience drop frames. Is that I've been having just a significant amount of issues with my overall bandwidth, and it's going to turn into a situation where I have to call the internet service provider on Monday and see specifically what I can do about this situation. Okay, so putting in a few details here. This is where his bow tie is. This is where the front of his chest is going to be. And then, so let me see, this arm is going to go in this direction. And then this arm is going to fan out in this direction. It's a complicated pose, but I think it's one that that can work out. All right. All right. Well, a significant amount of this is going to need to be goosed up when I actually start doing the inking. All right. So I think that hand is a little too high up. Doesn't quite fit with the pose any longer. All right. All right. So now we're going to go into details, and it's through details that I think this one is really going to come to life. And so, um, unlike the brainy outline, I do actually want this one to be mostly made up of black ink, tapered pen lines, and that it fits more with the comic book-like nature of the Scarlet Derby. Let's see here. So I think I'm gonna want this to be roughly like a seven, between a 4 and a 7 as far as ink width. All right, so let's zoom way in. All right. Well, I think we're going pretty significant. We're going pretty deeply in for details. I mean, so this is going to end up being a much smaller image than the other one was. All right. I'll take a half second to make sure that I still wasn't doing this in pencil. All right. not quite it. I need to a bit more like that. Okay. All right. Alright, so let me see. Probably going to want to make these wings a little bit longer. I'm going to want them to be at the very tip of those long posts that I had, that I was drawing here. Let me see here. So, put a dowel at the top of that. Clearly just some very rigid piece of wood, like a log or something. All right. All right, so let's take that. There's a significant amount of that section right here that I'm going to need to change.
Hometown returning. Hey.
All right.
Heart health pairing. That's it. One more rep. Heart health improving. Cardiovascular intervention specialist. I am John, and I am Centura.
At Centura Health, we're creating a community of caring in the neighborhoods where we live and the places where we work. Learn about our legacy of healing at Centura.org.
All right. All right, so that's basically how that goes. Let's see, I definitely want to round off these corners a little bit more. Let me zoom in for that. This line looks just a little bit off. I'm going to bring that closer to the top. It's entirely on the top now. It is on the top and nowhere else. Alright. Okay, so yeah, that is a pretty big improvement over the sketch. Let's see, some. Not really changing the brush size, am I? Alright. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to want to sketch in some I want to sketch in a few fronds right here. There's a few of the areas where the wings actually connect to the post. Alright. I think that's too thick. I think I had this at a 4. Alright. Alright. Let's put some here. A little bit more. Other than one or two sections where the ink is a little too faint, this will work out nicely. Alright. So I've tended to use a cell shading technique with the Scarlet Derby where I select the inverse. I can't do that just yet because there's still some open gap somewhere. There's one right about here. Alright. And there's another one up here in this direction. So I don't think this is an appropriate line anymore. Here. Oh. Okay, that looks good. Just erase that there. Alright. Let's see if I can do this magic wand trick now. No, it doesn't quite look like I can. Let me see. Select the inverse. Alright. Grab my paint bucket. Pick out a color blue. And let me see. For only to the editing layer, add a layer, and then put it there. Okay. Okay, and so that just creates a color outline for him. Alright. So we're going to paint bucket the rest of this. Let me see here. Okay, now we're referring other layers. Okay. Alright. here slightly. Okay, so yeah, we just got a generally cell shaded image at this point. So instead of using oil paints, we're still going to use a relatively fat marker here. Let's put the dropper tool. Just start filling these areas in. Right now the brush is so big that I wasn't even able to see it on the screen. Alright. Fill this in here. Alright. So I believe now that everything's colored in, we'll make a copy of that layer, and then we're going to start doing shading now. Let me see, a lot of transparent pixels. Make this black. Let's see. Then go back to paintbrushes. Go back to a thinner opacity. Alright. Oh shit, to white and do the outlines.
Create a spring adventure.
Alright.
Start your adventures with Honda. The brand owners are calling the most fun to drive. This spring, get a new 2022 Honda Pilot, CRV, Passport, or Ridgeline. Hurry into a local Honda dealer where new vehicles are arriving daily.
See dealer for financing details. 2021 ACSI survey of customers rating the performance of their own automobiles.
Alright, that looks pretty good. So once again, this is a card for the pilot. And just gonna take the moment to write the signature here. Should be in the outline section. Alright. So now let's start working on the background. I think let's see. Let's make the flats disappear for a moment. Paint all of this blue. Well, much lighter blue. Needs to be a sky blue. Oh. I need to make sure that I am referring only to the editing layer once again. Alright. Create another layer, and we're going to start drawing Big Ben behind him, and I'm going to need a I'm going to need a reference for that. Once again, when I am drawing the background images, this is where the mixed media is going to start to come in. I'm going to want to start to pick out something, either pencil or pastel, maybe even marker. Perhaps a little bit pointillist. I want it to be a very dark brown. Alright. I'm going to be relatively large sized. Alright, so once again, this is a Big Ben. It's got to be large and square. Let me see. The Nike's gonna have a gray top, like a dark gray top. Alright. Going to get a slightly lighter color and start putting in some spires. Okay, too light. Let's make the clock face. Maybe I'll make that out of crayon. And of course, Big Ben has got some big black some big black areas on his clock, thin outline, and then it almost looks entirely like a 5-year-old's crayon drawing. Try to see if we can bring those lighter colors back into it. Unfortunately, the pointless marker doesn't look like an awful lot from that distance, which is why I've kind of been resorting to doing some other, inserting some other colors like crayon colors. Alright. Alright. And then a few clouds in the background. I'm just putting them in the form of just really thick stripes in the background, because it really just kind of helps to round out the composition. Alright. And so, here we are. And so then that is the image that is going to be the that's going to be the pilot in this set of unofficial Magic the Gathering tokens. And so I had said, I had always initially proposed that this was going to be this image was going to make out to be a one where the Scarlet Derby is piloting an elaborate flying machine, and then he was going to be the pilot. And so I'll leave it up to you to determine whether or not I was even actually successful. But there we are. So yeah, we've completed these two images, and we've actually completed the very first art stream that we've had on this channel. So that's pretty awesome. So hang on a second. Let's head back to the lobby. Alright. This music is a little bit epic for closing, but oh well. So anyways, thank you very much for tuning in, cats and kittens, felines and felidae, humans and variant humans, and every race class and subclass. Thank you everybody for tuning in to today's stream. Gosh, I'm so used to streaming at night that I didn't even realize that I was streaming during the day today. But anyways, thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's. Well, I did it again. I did it twice. All right. Thank you for tuning in for today's stream. Once again, I am Brainy the RPG Cat. I am. You're probably not going to see me again until roughly about this coming Friday. I'm going to have some important business to attend to in the middle of this next week, and hopefully sometime in the middle of that I'll figure out what's been throttling down my internet bandwidth. But anyways, thank you everybody for tuning in. I am going to go. I'm going to look up our raid now. Let's see. Who would I like to pay a visit to? They might be good. Let's see. Who would I like to pay a visit to? I think I am going to go over to T. Rufel right now. T. Rufel is a kitten, and right now she is or they is. Gosh, I'm not entirely sure about that. I apologize for that. They are going to be playing WoW, and I believe that they have Tag the Otter as a special guest. So let's go and let's pay them a visit. Okay, so. Alright, everybody. So, thank you everybody for tuning in. So, I will most likely see you again this coming Friday, the 22nd, beginning at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Have a good day, everybody. And, watch the skies. I'm still working on the sign off for this. But thank you everybody for tuning in. I will see you soon.